Matthew Fox has so much wisdom to share with us. There are so many gifts, insights, amazing words that are locked in this paradigm here. When he talks about native peoples, their religions and cultures are dying, we witnessed that in Egypt. We witnessed it in the small townships where the young people were unfulfilled, angry, suppressed, oppressed, where the father had an incredible influence, but you could see underneath it all the corruption. But Matthew says the oldest religions on our planet are not the great world religions such as Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Islam and Christianity, but the religions of the native peoples of the Americas, Africa and ancient Europe, Australia, Polynesia and Asia. In these religions one finds deep memories of that essayist Frederick Turner, who called Aboriginal mother love. Aboriginal mother love. These religions arose in cultural periods that were matrifocal. They reverenced Mother Earth and her fruitfulness. They were non-dualistic in their celebration of the sacred hoop that binds all creatures and gifts of the earth together. The rock people, the cloud people, the tree people, the finned ones, the winged ones and the two-legged ones, well, that must be us. By following the cycles of seasons and harmonizing with the wisdom of Mother Earth, they shared in the family of creation. And interestingly, Joseph Campbell observes and shares this. There can be no doubt that in the very earliest ages of human history, the magical force and wonder of the female was no less a marvel than the universe itself. And this gave to woman a prodigious power. It is in fact most remarkable how many primitive hunting races have the legend of a still more primitive age than their own, in which the women were the sole possessors of the magical art. Campbell believes that this wonder of the female and the mystery of maternity and its relation to the universe has been one of the chief concerns of the masculine part of population to break. He says the population to break control and employ to its own ends. Consider what happened when white European Christians came to America's shores in 1492, and that amazing film, The Mission, the Jesuits who tried to defend the Native Americans when the Spaniards came over, and you could see them in the film carrying the Blessed Sacrament, and the Spanish soldiers were just beheading and piercing and killing. Oh, it was horrendous, but it was true. There was a lot of religious politics involved. And that ancient civilization were being slaughtered because of their treasures, their gold. At that time there were approximately 18 million inhabitants of the Americas. By 1550, only 10 million remained. In Mexico, the population on the eve of the European conquest was about 25 million. By 1600, only 1 million remained. In the West Indies, there was practically a total extermination of the Aboriginal peoples. In 1492 there were 1,100,000 inhabitants in Santo Domenico. By 1530 there were only 10,000 left. In 1492 there were 600,000 inhabitants of Cuba. By 1570 only 270 households remained. Isn't that tragic? Where did they go? Obviously they were destroyed. They were killed, mutilated, taken as slaves. By whom? Not by the animal kingdom, but by man himself. These facts reveal a holocaust of ineffable proportions. Bartolomé de las Casas, who observed these events firsthand, wrote that so great is the Indians' despair that many take their own lives, and they will not rear children. Oh, that's tragic. Las Casas took the side of the Indians in pleading their cause with the King of Spain and the Pope. The Church allowed it. The Church was influenced by the King of Spain, and the poor Jesuits were caught in the middle to try and save, so they tried to play on the Spaniards' Catholic faith by holding the monstrance with the Blessed Sacrament to protect the indigenous peoples. But of course the soldiers didn't fall for that. The King of Spain had a bounty and he wanted each one to bring back money, gold, possessions. So even the presence of the Christ didn't stop them. How wicked. If you've never seen the film, I recommend you do. The Mission. The music is beautiful. Jeremy Irons, I think, takes one of the lead roles of one of the Jesuits. It is such, well, it is a true story, but it's just made with so much sensitivity and beauty, and it reveals the corruption, how indigenous peoples were a pawn in a game of greed between politicians and religions. Oh, heartbreaking. Here he goes. He said that the colonists exterminated the Indians by their greed. He believed that the Indians represented an advanced civilization in comparison with that of European Christianity. He said the Indians were better equipped to supervise the Spaniards and give them a way to live to life superior to what the Spaniards had in Castile. Now there's one. Wow. As for the argument that Indians too had wars and an occasional ritual of human sacrifice, Las Casas commented, the avarice of the Spaniards did more to destroy and depopulate this land than all the sacrifices and wars that took place in pagan times. The Europeans accused the natives of innate indolence because they only grew food for their own subsistence and left themselves time and occasions for celebrations and revelries. The native peoples had room in their souls for the via positivia, viva positivia, for enjoying the fruits of Mother Earth. So they would celebrate a festival for Mother Earth. The European compulsion to conquer and satisfy what Turner called their ravenous pursuit of a hunger beyond consumption, condemned pleasure as sinful. One is reminded of W.H. Audin's comment, as a rule, it was the pleasure haters who became unjust. Between 1503 and 1660, 185,000 kilograms of gold and 16 million kilograms of silver arrived at one Spanish port from the Americas. Silver shipped from the New World to Spain in these 150 years was triple the total European silver reserves. Can you believe it? The blood of the Indian peoples was the price of this greed. What happened at Auschwitz was heralded and indeed surpassed. On American soil 4 centuries earlier, Las Casas believed that if ever there were cause for a just war, that the native peoples of the Americas held such a right, and that this right will be theirs until the day of judgment. Frequently in this book I praise the wisdom of native peoples for always living out of a cosmology. But the dark side of this story, the immense suffering of native peoples that exists to this day, must also be acknowledged, and that is so true. This suffering is due primarily to the fact that they have been robbed of their cosmology by a white society and a religion that felt it had outgrown cosmology. I have come to think of alcohol as liquid cosmology, because I find that cultures that were once thriving and in tune with the cosmos, when conquered by an acosmic culture, succumb readily to alcohol. One thinks of the creative peoples of America as well as those of Ireland as examples of this suffering. Bring on the Irish. Oh. Our failure to live a via positiva, to celebrate the pleasures of the divine presence where we are on Mother Earth, creates a compulsion to conquer and achieve pleasure elsewhere. A story is told of European Christian missionaries who first arrived in East Africa. In the year 1846, 2 German missionaries, Krapf and Rebmann, opened their first church about 20 kilometers from Mombasa among the Warabi people. They had learned the local language and offered the first Christian liturgy. They were Lutherans. The people were not impressed and said they would not return next Sunday. Good on them. There ought to have been rice and plenty to eat and drink. There should have been drumming, dancing and singing. Krapp and Rebmann told the people that they were speaking like that because they were sinners. How sad! Because they were sinners. The people asked what it meant to be a sinner. When Krapp explained the notion, that the Warabi asked him who had been slandering them. When Rebmann explained that God had sent his only son to show them his love, they said that they did not need that son to know that God loved them. They knew that love because God had given them their lives. Wow. God gave them their children, the sun and the moon, the rain and the harvest, their children, and wait for it, their beer. Notice that the native peoples knew the first article of faith, that of a creator God. They possessed a via positiva. They knew God loved them because of the blessings they had experienced in their own lives. Hildegard teaches that Adam's sin was a failure in Eros. Really? He did not enjoy deeply enough the delights of earth. Her exegesis of the fall in the Garden of Eden is related to the fact that in both Hebrew, Chokhmah, and Latin sapientia, the word for wisdom, means to taste. Taste and see that the Lord is good, says the Psalmist 38 verse 8. Humans need to drink in and taste the pleasures of existence, lest they be driven to limitless greed and insatiable consumption. Wow, drink. Insatiable consumption, drink. It's got to be to drink. Lawrence van der Post tells of the wisdom he learned from the bush people of Africa. They do not feel the cosmic loneliness, the staggering loss of identity and meaning that we are in the modern world experience. The one outstanding characteristic of these people, as I knew them and which distinguished them from us, was that wherever they went, they felt that they were known. Why is this? Because they saw their world as a family, including the cosmos and all of creation. The indigenous peoples of Africa were trying to teach the missionaries about cosmology and the cosmic Christ and Mother Earth. But they weren't having it, the missionaries, because they were saying the indigenous peoples were sinners. Crazy. As Frederick Turner observes from the Native American perspective, myth and cosmos go together. Cosmos is a thou, celebration of life, is the purpose of myths of native peoples. Myth allows no dualism. Aboriginal mother love was imperiled by Europeans schooled in hatred of creation and the sacralization of dualism. The great mother archetype of native peoples everywhere have been practically exterminated by patriarchal holocausts and colonialism. There is Spider Woman and White Buffalo Woman in the Americas. There is Gaia and Athena in Europe. There is Oshun and Yamaya, among others, in Africa. There is Sophia in Greece and Shekinah in Israel. The Aboriginal mother love is in us all. As one Hopi scholar and practitioner says, every Hopi issues from the mother principle. Without Spider Woman, no creation would ever take place. The goddess in everyone has been dying, along with the creation, Mother Earth and wisdom. So said my dream. And there I think we will give it a break, because we've done a lot of death and dying in those readings. Let us just come back into our heart. Let us just come to the goddess within, the divine feminine aspect of God who is within us. We were born with the divine feminine and masculine, for if we believe that we were created in the image and likeness of God, then we already know intuitively that God is male and female, and that God partners male-female energies in the sacred. For example, Isis, Osiris, Christ, cosmic Christ, divine feminine Magdalena, twin flames. We each have the twin flame within us, and it's about embracing the I Am presence within us and finding our ancient roots that go back through our tree of life. Through many incarnations, we will find our Earth Mother. We will find our Heavenly Mother. and we will find who we truly are, a beloved of God. Let us just be still. Let us just reflect for a moment on the Cosmic Mother. We've read about the youth dying, and how adultism has taken from our youth the ability to dream dreams. We have seen tragedy and travesty committed in the name of religion, the established religions that we listed, all the main ones, and yet the established religions did not have what the indigenous peoples had. They had the pure essence of cosmology and the cosmic Christ. They didn't need, forgive me for being a heretic, but because they were living to their true purpose, to their highest good, for God to send them His Son to make reparation for their sin, they weren't sinning. They were honoring the divine, they were celebrating the divine, and they did this through their ritual and living the simple life like Francis. It is we in the West who needed the Son of God to come and repair the damage that we have caused down the centuries of our greed and playing politics and religion to shackle the people of God, to project one's own inner turmoil, one's own selfishness, with one's own narcissistic visions of self onto an innocent, beautiful people. And that's why Francis came. I call him Cosmic Francis, because he had a love affair with the Christ and his mother, Mother Mary. But he lived a simple life. It was aesthetic. He preferred the cave to the 5-star hotel. He preferred simple food from the earth than all the many courses that they were having in the bishop's palace or in Rome. He travelled light, as did all his monks, but then something happened. They invented suitcases. Well, you don't have a suitcase with a pair of sandals. They started filling them with nonsense. We don't need to be the Imelda Marcus of this generation. God damn it, we've only got one pair of feet. We can only wear one pair of sandals. We can only put on one shirt. But we surround ourselves with so much materialism that when we come to go for a weekend away, we can't get in our own transport. Is that what loving, living in the presence of God is about? Being overwhelmed with materialism? No. So let us spend 5 minutes just connecting with the Christ and Mother Earth. And let us ask the Christ to reawaken within us a passion to feel the love of Gaia, our beloved Earth Mother, for she is the one who provides. And yet we walk over her, we ignore her, because we've become a self-centered nation where we have lost respect for ourselves, for each other, and for the sacred. So we sit in the presence of love and we embrace that love. For that love is healing, it's redemptive, it's restorative, it's holistic, it's eternal life. It is the umbilical cord that unites us to our mother. And she has never severed that cord. It is we, through greed, through selflessness, we can bring it back. So let us now quietly ask our beloved Earth Mother to reawaken within us a respect of the sacred, of the divine within all of creation. And let us feel the heartbeat from our beloved Earth Mother. Let us feel it now as it comes up through our feet. Yes, feel it. It's pulsating. It's erotic. It's sensuous. It's sacred. It's spiritual. It's divine. And at the same time, the cosmic Christ is coming down and we can sense his heartbeat. It is fluid. It is sacred. And it's empowering us to bring the two heartbeats together. The two sacred beats to become one beat within us. Let's bring them together. Let us take responsibility for this act of reverence to a true cosmology that's Franciscan, that's rooted in the cathedral of God, the cathedral of nature. Feel it, embrace it, let it touch your soul. And as you breathe in, you are breathing in the very essence of all that we've talked about the last few nights. We are surrendering to love, to Eros. We are reclaiming our divinity as a child of the earth, as a child of God. And our soul is traveling through many lifetimes, learning from the indigenous peoples the richness of tradition, of their reverence for the sacred in everything that lived, moved, and had its being from God, right up to the present day. And now embrace Mother Earth and allow her feel safe with you, because Mother Earth is uncomfortable with modern man, for she has seen the byproduct of their greed, with an imbalance in the ecosystem where the animal kingdom have been sacrificed and desecrated, the rainforests, the whole equilibrium of our planet, of all that she has worked for, with the native spirits, with the angel divas and elementals, who have worked tirelessly since the beginning of time. Man is destroying it at such an alarming rate. Naturally, Mother Earth is apprehensive. So assure her that you've come in love, that you've come as an ambassador of peace. Ask her to show you, ask her to teach you. Ask her to be a part of your spiritual journey to the cosmic Christ, for she is the cosmic mother, and the Son of God is the cosmic Christ. Stay with that and allow divine love encapsulate the two energies within you now. The cosmic mother with the cosmic Christ. And allow their love beget in you the cosmic child. The cosmic child of love. And let us celebrate the indigenous peoples. Let not their lives be in vain. Let us celebrate their lives now and give thanks to God and to Gaia for the rich tapestry that they gave us. May it not come to an end. May we bring that to fruition in our life by bringing back the reverence and respect to all that God has made. And let us not be timid in our challenging the powers that be, who run roughshod over the sacred. Let us not be afraid of speaking our truth for Gaia and for the cosmic Christ. For we will leave sacred footprints when we leave this earth plane. Let those sacred footprints be a blueprint for the next generation of peacemakers and kingdom builders. I wish you all that I wish myself. I wish you the peace, the understanding, and the love of the sacred. But remember where you are surrounded by the sacred. You are amongst the sacred. You are sacred. You are a co-creator of God. You are a child of light and love. Embrace the heartbeat of the cosmic mother and embrace the heartbeat of the cosmic Christ. Bring them together, and then you will begin to live a lived life, following in the footsteps of the great masters like Francis of Assisi. Namaste. God bless you and take care.